Right, I think we are live.
We're live,
Yep.
episode 4 of TalkFlow.
Yeah, man.
So,
How are you?
doing very well, bro.
Jay.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Very tired today, but the show must
Yeah,
go on.
long day as well.
Very
For
long day.
those that for those that don't know, last week I got quite a bad injury on my knee, so I've been kind of recovering. Um, but yeah, man, we move. My business never stops moving, which is what I said in the last episode. So I have to stick by what I say. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, this episode we're gonna talk about how to market yourself to win Webflow clients. So everything you need to know as a beginner for marketing yourself, because a lot of people are confused on where to start. How to
yeah,
how to get started marketing yourself, what to post, all of that stuff. So we're just going to be taking a deep dive into step by step how to market yourself. All the way from identifying who you're going to market to, all the way to your market. Sorry, your marketing actually working for you.
yeah,
um, so yeah, man, let's get started. Let's jump right into it.
yeah. So let's start with disclaimers as usual.
Yeah.
This is for beginners, and we're only going to be talking about what we have done and what we think works. We
Mhm.
have not done every marketing tricks and tips and tricks out there. So it's just mainly what we have done, what works, and it's just mainly our opinion. If we say
Mhm.
something doesn't work, it has not worked for both of us. And but it doesn't mean it won't work for you. It might work for you, and vice versa as well. If you say, "Oh, this has worked great for us," it could not work for you. So it's just about how you do it and how you're comfortable at marketing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only disclaimer we have,
Yeah.
right?
So like, what's it called? Whatever we say in this episode, you have
Yeah,
to
and
go
the
test out
podcast
yourself.
and the
Yeah.
stream itself. Yeah,
Yeah. You have to, try what we say, and if it doesn't work for you, then it's fine. Move on to the
yeah,
next thing. Or what we say is not going to work for every single person that's watching.
yeah,
It's gonna, so just use the stuff that we're saying, use as tactics and strategies that work for you, and that's gonna take a long time to figure out. But that's
yeah.
normal. It took a long time for me to figure out where
And we're still
my
figuring
skills
out
lie,
to
and
an
yeah, we're still
extent. Yeah,
figuring it out. But it took a long time to do that, and
yeah,
it's the same for everyone that's marketing. So yeah.
yeah. So why should we market? Because it is something not all of us think about, and it's certainly something that I didn't really think about when I got started. As Webflow developers and designers, we're just like, oh, I want to get start. I want to build this awesome website, or I want to start making money. But we often forget to make money. You gotta put yourself out there. People need to see what you can do and to see what services you're offering.
Hmm.
Essentially, marketing is basically making sure the market knows who you are and what you do and how much you're worth. Um, yeah, why do you think marketing is vital
Yeah,
besides that?
so marketing is super important. So, you can be the best designer, the best developer in the world. If you don't market
Yeah,
yourself, no one will see you. So
yeah,
the main goal for marketing is building exposure to the right people. That's all
yeah,
marketing is. And there's so many different strategies that allows you to do that.
yeah,
And platforms that will help you to market. You know, and I think right now, especially in the 21st century, 2021, there's so much like platforms you can leverage. New platforms coming out every day, like TikTok came out, last year or however long ago it came
yeah,
out. People start leveraging that instantly. So it's just
yeah,
about leveraging the platforms so you can build exposure so people find you, and not only they find you, but the right people find you that you can sell to.
yeah, yeah. Hey,
Exactly. So I like
so
how, yeah,
Dave,
like how
just a
Dev
quick
said,
shout
yeah,
out. Yeah,
that's a very good point. Thank you for jumping on the stream. But yeah, next point.
yeah. So the next one is building your brand. As beginners, we don't know what that means. And even now, we're still trying to figure out what our brand is. But a brand is basically what people associate your work or yourself to.
Hmm.
For example, if you what's the biggest brand we all know is Apple, and their brand is known for being luxurious, expensive. It's not something everyone can afford, and they're happy to. Every year they do the same thing. Yet people they make billions, trillions of dollars. So that's a very common example. But in Webflow itself, like FinSuite have built a brand where they have established that they are like the Webflow gods or like the Webflow kings, who they do a lot of cool stuff on Webflow and try to break a lot of the, you know,
Boundaries, yeah.
boundaries in Webflow. So this is a brand that you can build, and it could be anything that you want to be known for, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what a brand is. You know, a brand is what people say about yourself, about your
Yeah,
business. You know, once a person, purchase your services, for example, you complete a website for them, what will they say about your brand? When people work with FinSuite, for example, they always, say about, they always say that, FinSuite is crazy. Like they do the best stuff,
yeah,
they make crazy websites. That's what everyone thinks about FinSuite, and that's their brand.
yeah,
So branding is instilling that, controlling what you instill in your customer's mind, in controlling what you instill in your customer's mind. That's a brand. That's a process of a brand. So yeah, but branding is not just like Apple, like a corporate thing. You can brand anything. You can brand yourself,
yeah,
which is what a lot of people do. You can brand your niche. For example, us, we're Webflow developers. We branded ourselves as Webflow developers. You
yeah.
can brand your values. For example, if you only work with certain companies, or if you have a, you know, I don't really know, but any type of value you can brand that. So branding is not something that can be tangible,
Because
right?
yeah,
It's
we
intangible.
know, like I've seen quite a lot of Webflow developers who work only for non-profits, or
Hmm.
they work for like churches or communities. So that's also sort of branding when you think of,
Yeah.
or even someone like Timothy Riggs, right? He has a personal brand of teaching, which is a brand. When you
Hmm.
think of, pushing Webflow's design or coding, you think of Timothy Riggs. That's a brand
Yeah.
that he has built. So stuff like this is what you should consider. And as beginners,
Yeah.
you shouldn't like focus on it too much, but you'll
Yeah.
always see what you like. While you're doing the work, maybe you have an inclination towards design. That could be a brand. You could be the guy who designs amazing websites on Webflow, or
Hmm.
maybe you have a strong coding background, and that could be a brand. You could be the guy who does amazing code-based solutions to Webflow,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
yeah, these are very simple brands that you can try to do. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but it definitely, as you grow, it definitely helps.
Yeah. So as a beginner, right, you shouldn't feel pressured into starting a brand straight away.
Yeah,
A brand is like,
build over
it
time.
takes, yeah, it is built
uh,
over time, just like everything
New
else,
code.
right?
Yeah,
It takes a really long time. So yeah, don't feel pressured in finding your brand straight away, because you don't really know what you're good at the beginning. You don't know what you enjoy the most. You haven't
yeah,
tried out anything, so how you supposed to know what you enjoy? So yeah, it takes time. Just be patient, and as you grow, your brand will also grow, and then you'll know what your brand will be.
yeah. And yeah, I think Dave puts it in like the best way possible.
Yeah.
You know,
Why do people want to choose you, right,
yeah,
for a
and
certain
that's your
service?
brand.
That's the brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think I
that,
saw a website that was really good. On the landing page, they literally had, then they didn't even list out their services. They just
yeah,
explained what kind of people they work with. So they said,
mm,
we want to work directly with the CEO. We don't
yeah,
like, small talk. We want to be super direct. So that's like they're building a brand out of their values. So that's
yeah,
another really good example of a company that does that. A brand
yeah.
can be made out of anything.
And yeah, so that brings us to like finding your voice. This doesn't mean like you're gonna sing or anything, but it's trying to find. Oh shit, I'm becoming a dad. But this basically means what makes you comfortable. Like, not
Hmm.
everybody is comfortable sharing or marketing or talking about stuff. You are definitely comfortable in one thing and not in the other. For me, I'm more comfortable writing stuff on like LinkedIn. I can take my time to compose what I'm thinking. I spend like an entire day just thinking of what to write, and I'll just craft it in my head. That's how I find my voice. There are people who are amazing at making YouTube videos, right? They have a knack for editing, and they
Like
have
us.
strong. We are trying, but that
We're
we'll get
trying our
that
best.
like towards the end of the episode. But yeah,
Yeah.
you always find that one thing that you're good at. If you are good at, again, some people are really good at being in front of the camera. They're very
Mhm.
confident. They speak very, they own the screen they're on, right? And again, there are people who like they can do insta posts. Like I've seen so many people on Instagram that I follow, they have amazing carousels, they have beautiful
Mm-hmm.
design, they have punchy headlines. And again, this is finding your voice.
Yeah.
What can you say, and how can you say something that you are
Yeah.
comfortable doing? Because if you're
Yeah.
not comfortable being in front of the camera, it's very
Don't be in front
difficult
of the
for you.
camera. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very awkward even for us. For me personally, I feel very awkward being in front of a camera, but I
Mm-hmm.
start where I was more comfortable, which is LinkedIn, posting stuff, right? Like writing, I'm
Yeah.
not sharing my face or my voice or anything like that. But
Yeah,
then once,
that's why we say like that's why we said at the beginning, you know, everything has to be unique to you. You have to ask
yeah,
yourself these questions. What are you comfortable with? Really like go deep inside your mind and ask
yeah,
yourself these questions. For example, if you're amazing at graphic design, perfect for you because you can
yeah,
create beautiful carousels.
yeah,
If you're charismatic and you really like to talk to people, start
YouTube,
videos, start YouTube
yeah,
videos.
yeah,
If if you're really articulate and you like words into poetry, whatever,
yeah,
then go on LinkedIn or whatever. If you like to have that community vibe, Facebook. So it all really depends on what
w-
you are and who you
yeah.
are, what you're comfortable with, what your skills are, where your advantages are,
Yeah, you
and
cannot always
yeah.
copy someone. Like you look at someone, oh, they're making YouTube videos, I want to do it as well. It's
Hmm.
very difficult. If you're not comfortable doing it, it's very difficult for you to
Yeah.
appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah. So
Right. And I
that's what
think,
finding your voice is, right? It's all unique
yeah,
to yourself. So.
yeah. And I think Dave is also an example that I see his LinkedIn and his posts quite often. He shares his work, which is, I think, what is comfortable for him. And that's good because I see his work, I like it, and I want to work with him. I can reach out to
Mhm.
him. Right. And yeah, that's pretty much, you don't have to be a video creator
Yeah.
necessarily.
And
And that,
another thing that I want to
yeah,
mention
sure.
about finding a voice is, um, if even if you're not comfortable in writing or showing, creating videos or anything of that sort, you can let your work speak for yourself. That your work could be your voice. So a lot of people, a lot of designers actually just post their designs on Dribble, literally
Yeah,
just post their stuff on
we're
Showcase,
talking about that
and they
later.
get and they get a
How
lot
to
of
create that.
clients.
Yeah,
So yeah, that
we'll
could be a
get
way
back
as
to it.
well. If you're not
Yeah,
comfortable talking, then you can just post designs. But yeah.
yeah. And I think that brings us to like the best and worst platforms.
Hmm.
Again, another disclaimer is like, we are not saying do not do, when we say this is the worst platform, doesn't mean it's, you should not try it or anything. It's just something that doesn't work for us. And we just want to mention that. So for us, I think we both agree the best platform is LinkedIn. Both of us,
LinkedIn, yeah.
I've been active on it for about a year now. And I think you have been active on it for about 6 7 months now.
Hmm.
And both of us kind of see the potential of LinkedIn. I think Dave can also up us on that. Like he's also active on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
um yeah, I think for designers, creatives, or any sort of business, if you're a freelancer, you're basically a business owner. LinkedIn
Hmm.
is the best platform because it is for professionals. People go there to see work, to see people talk about their work, and it's all about work. When you go to other platforms, they are not necessarily for professionals, and that's why they are not the best platform. And for us,
Hmm.
the in between is like Instagram, right? Like you have experience on
Hmm.
Instagram.
Yeah. So Instagram, I used to do a lot of carousels on Instagram.
Yeah,
And it was all right. I mean, it used to get quite a lot of likes.
yeah,
But what I found is that I only got likes from other designers like myself. I didn't really reach business owners.
yeah,
That's why I kind of transitioned into LinkedIn. And we're going to
yeah,
mention this as well at the right at the end about testing and refining and switching platforms if you can. But yeah, I mean, I found LinkedIn to be the best because you can speak directly when people are on LinkedIn. They're expecting to be, you know, s- um,
seeing work
they're
and
expecting to
yeah,
see work and like
yeah,
business stuff. But when you're on Instagram, for
money,
me personally,
yeah,
yeah, I just want to have fun. Like, I don't want to look. I want to look at a few memes. When I'm
yeah,
on Facebook, I want to look at a few funny videos.
yeah,
So, but on LinkedIn, when I'm on LinkedIn, like my business mind is just like, yeah, I'm looking to see a lot of business stuff that's gonna help me.
yeah.
That's why LinkedIn is so powerful for
And
business
also,
owners that are selling
the
services.
unique thing about LinkedIn is that not necessarily people who follow you can see your posts. you
Hmm.
you know people 3 4 networks away can still see a post if it does well, which is very rare on stuff like
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook. where it's almost algorithm based, and you only see posts with people you follow. So it's very hard, even if you make great content from the start, it's very, very hard to build a good following on Instagram or
Hmm.
on Facebook, because it's so saturated, and it's very difficult for newcomers to come in. This is where I think
Yeah,
LinkedIn and YouTube to an extent does pretty well. They
yeah.
have a good balance of like, it doesn't, you can have three. First, I think I only have about 350 connections, but my posts regularly have about 1,000 views, right? And this
Hmm.
is quite very, very unique to LinkedIn. Whereas on Instagram, when I
Yeah.
was active on it, I had about what, 100, 200 follow 100 followers, I think. And, barely 30 people see it, and out of the 30,
Hmm.
only like 10 likes it. And these 10
Hmm.
are the people who have been following me for like a long time. So they're
Hmm.
like friends and family, so it doesn't really,
Yeah.
promote your work out there.
Yeah.
And
And
another thing, someone.
another, oh, sorry,
Yeah,
go
yeah,
on,
go,
go
go,
on.
go on, go on, I don't take your
I was going to
points.
talk about another feature of LinkedIn,
Yeah,
because LinkedIn, right? With LinkedIn, you can you can connect with other business owners as well. So
yeah,
I feel like the connection part of LinkedIn as well is super
it's very
powerful,
powerful. Yeah,
and you can control who you connect with and who you do not connect with.
yeah,
For Instagram, people can follow you, but you have to
yeah,
go through one by one to unfollow, right?
yeah.
But with LinkedIn, is
You
super
have the
powerful.
power, whereas
You
on
have power.
Instagram,
You
people,
Yeah,
have you had that thing where people just spam follow you, like
yeah.
just
I've had
random
that a
people
lot on
with,
Instagram.
it's like
Yeah,
3,000 following, they just follow you. I'm like, just get
yeah.
out, man.
That's why LinkedIn is a lot better in that sense.
Yeah,
And another thing, right, is I believe I mentioned this before, when on Instagram, a lot of designers are looking at my posts, and I couldn't
yeah,
control that. But with
yeah,
LinkedIn, I can kind of, to some extent, control who sees my
with
post by connecting with
hashtags
the
and
right
all that.
people,
Yeah,
with hashtags, connecting with business owners rather than other designers, only
yeah,
accepting connection requests from business owners.
yeah,
And it doesn't, yeah, so you can really control who's in your network and who
yeah,
sees your posts, essentially. So I think that's really powerful about LinkedIn.
yeah. So I think, yeah, I think we summarized that.
So I think yeah, if we go back for 1 second, I also
Okay.
want to talk about Facebook as well. Like, I
Yeah.
feel, yeah, okay, we praised LinkedIn as well, but Instagram, we didn't really shit on them, but Instagram is not
It's
really good for us,
Instagram
like,
is good to build a community, I feel. Like if you want
community.
to build like a good following, it's very conducive to do so,
Yeah,
right? But then it's not
yeah,
a good place to find clients if you're more business focused.
yeah, which is a
And
goal, right?
yeah, and I've heard like someone with like, because I've been following this person on Insta for about a year now, and she's doing like amazing job on Insta. She has like 1,000 followers, and she's been like followed by one of the top few Webflow people. But even she
Mhm.
mentioned that, clients are not on Instagram. It's great that I
Mhm.
get a lot of support and like people following my work and they like my work, but I'm not getting paid for this, or I'm not
Yeah,
getting the clients that I want. And she's like, oh, I think I'm going to move to LinkedIn. And that
yeah,
is the power of LinkedIn.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Facebook as well. So we just talked about Instagram.
Yeah.
Facebook is, I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone knows, right, that people kind of support the method of Facebook groups and providing
Yeah.
value in Facebook groups and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I've I've tried that, but people can judge if I've done that correctly or not. But I found that
Yeah.
to not really work effectively. I'd rather
Same.
spend my time posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I think Facebook
yeah,
groups are pretty much the same. I would say same as Instagram. Like it's very
yeah,
nice to build like a following. People follow you. They like your post. It feels good. It hits you with the dopamines. But
yeah,
it's you don't really land a lot of clients from it.
yeah,
And even if you do, those aren't the high paying
yeah,
clients, because most of them in the groups are basically someone the same place as you
yeah.
are. Right.
And
This is
another
the
thing about the
Webflow group
groups
I'm talking
is,
about.
yeah, another thing
Yeah.
about groups, right, is if you want to, join a group, for example, for dental professionals, you want
Yeah.
to target
Yeah.
dental professionals, you want to build websites for dental clinics. Is I mean, most of these Facebook groups are managed by marketing agencies themselves. So,
Yeah.
firstly, it's hard to get accepted to good Facebook groups. And secondly, people that do get accepted, 90% of the people in the group also want to do that strategy of finding clients in those Facebook groups. So
Yeah.
it is quite hard to do that. But we're not saying to not try these. Try them for yourself. If they work, amazing. If they don't,
Yeah.
I told
Give
you
it a
so.
shot.
No, I'm
Yeah.
joking. Yeah, but if they don't work, then it's fine. You can move on
Yeah.
to the next one.
It's all part of
Um,
learning, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think it brings us to like the do's and don'ts of marketing, which I
Hmm.
think this one we can be pretty strong. Like it's not just opinion. I think it's at some point becomes fact. The
Hmm.
biggest don't of marketing is don't spam. That's it. Like don't.
Yeah.
And I've seen this on LinkedIn as well. People spam on LinkedIn with like 3 posts every day, 10 posts every day. It's like, oh, Webflow is amazing. I love you, Webflow. They post like one picture of their project. Like, this is my best project. Don't do that, because
Hmm.
personally, if I see anyone posting more than 3 times in a row, I just delete them. Like, because
Yeah.
you're giving so much your attention to one person, and it's not one quality content, right?
Hmm.
So in any platform, even on Instagram or Facebook, whatever you choose, TikTok, whatever you want to do, don't spam it. Like, make sure that
Hmm.
you're putting quantity over quality. But again, there's also a boundary
Quality
where,
over quantity.
what did I say?
You said quantity over quality.
Oh,
Well,
my
yeah,
brain is
quality over quantity.
yeah, put quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also like a threshold you got to set, because most of us want to make it perfect. Like, this is the perfect post I want to make, and we spend so much time on it. You shouldn't like make you know what I mean, right? That there's always
Yeah.
a boundary you got to draw. You shouldn't make
Hmm.
low quality content that nobody's gonna like, and you shouldn't be worried to make good content and make sure it's perfect, no errors, no glitches, nothing like that. It doesn't matter, as long as there's some sort of value you're adding to your content. People are going to forgive a lot of the mistakes
Hmm.
that you can make.
Yeah. So I think another don't of marketing, because the don'ts I believe are kind of more important than
Yeah,
the do's. Because
yeah,
if you don't do these don'ts, then you're
you're
automatically above
already
the rest, right?
doing the do's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're already doing a lot. So
yeah.
another thing to do with spam, right, is a lot of bro. I think the other day somebody messaged me in French. Like he tried to connect with me. He sent me a connection request, and the note was in French. And he sent me like 3 follow-ups. I'm like, bro, like, haven't you seen where I'm based? I don't know French. So like that's another thing, right? You have to be very careful on human. Do your homework before you send a
Yeah.
connection request to someone. That
Oh
guy
yeah,
didn't do his
spam
homework
connections,
clearly. So
bro. Oh
yeah,
my god.
that guy, he didn't do his homework before
Yeah.
sending me the connection request. So it's all about like, yeah, again, quality over quantity. If you're
Yeah.
gonna reach out to people, if you're gonna connect with people, do a bit of homework, and
Just
check out a
imagine
few of their posts
if you were
and
the
send them a
person,
connection
what would
request.
they feel,
Yeah,
right? That's what I
exactly.
always do. If someone's reading this, if I'm sending a connection, what are they going to get of it? Does it feel spammy? Does it feel too salesy? I don't want to come out like too strong in that. And there's also another don't, right? Like, don't be too
Hmm.
salesy. Marketing and sales are
Hmm.
two different things. You should not try to sell your services or your product when you're marketing. Like, have you seen Apple on any of its ad be like, buy this new phone right now?
Hmm.
They don't. They just show you what it can do. Like, and they show you people having fun using it. They don't say you need this phone right now.
Hmm.
And ads that do that, or marketing campaigns that do that, don't really
Do well.
succeed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And bro, I couldn't agree with that more. Right, like a lot of people, they watch The Wolf of Wall Street once and they say, I'm gonna hard sell everything. But it's the total opposite. This is how you
Yeah.
should approach marketing, right? You should plant your seeds, post your work, and then say,
Yeah.
hey, check this out. And just let your work do the
They're
rest
talking.
of your
Yeah.
job for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let your work do the talking. Don't just shove your work down people's throat,
Yeah.
shove your pitch down people's throat. People do not like that at all, especially on LinkedIn where there's a ton of spam.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, just be very casual, relax, and
Don't
if
overthink.
you're gonna,
Yeah.
yeah, don't overthink. If you're gonna post content, just post it very casually. Be like, yeah, here's my post. Sorry, here's a recent project that I've done. Whatever,
Yeah.
that's it. And then just let people
Yeah.
decide what they want to do instead of enforcing your
Forcing.
opinions
Yeah.
on them and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
you have to reach out to me after you read this post. Like,
Yeah. Like,
people do not
or
like
like
that.
like it if you think this was. Don't do that. Like, nobody's
Yeah,
gonna.
that's
The
true.
moment you see that, nobody's gonna like it.
Yeah, and I also want to mention one more thing, right? About I think I learned this quite recently.
This is a
Um,
good quote.
best marketing is something that doesn't feel exactly. Yeah, so
Yeah.
marketing shouldn't feel like marketing. That's actually a good point. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah. So to just for the last point of this topic, one thing that I learned to not do in marketing and even in sales, but this episode we're going to talk about marketing, so I'm going to stick to marketing. I learned this quite recently, but it's don't assume your client's problems already. So a
Yeah,
lot of people they send connection requests. I've seen this a lot. I used to do it as well. So um, b- uh, they send messages to certain business owners being like, okay, I just looked at
yeah,
your website. This is
it
XYZ. That's the
sucks.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks. XYZ.
Let me come and
Your
fix it.
yeah, exactly. Your hero is not proper. Your call
Yeah.
to action is not proper. Let me fix it for you.
People
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 hate
hate
that.
you. Yeah.
People
Just imagine
despise that
someone doing that to
completely.
you.
Exactly, because it's because the reason why people don't like that is because, firstly, you're assuming there are problems, right? And it kind of
Yeah.
you're kind of condescending them in a way, because you're assuming their problem. So kind of, it's a bit disrespectful. So that's what I found, and I've kind of moved away from that. I used to do that quite a lot, but now I
Yeah.
don't do that at all, because I found that not to work at all. People hate it when you assume their problems, and especially if you pitch them after to find a solution for their problems that you just assumed. That is just
Yeah.
the worst. So don't do
Yeah.
that. A better way to approach things is be like, you know what, I'm an expert in this. If you need any help in it, let me know. That's the best way to
Yeah.
do that. That way, you're not assuming their problems, you're just coming across as an expert. You're just showcasing them your services technically, and
Yeah.
letting them decide. Um, so yeah, I feel like that's the best way to do marketing.
Yeah. And this brings us to like what content do you create? And
Hmm.
as a beginner, there's something I really struggled with because we don't really put personally I don't put anything on any of my social media. And all of when you're a beginner freelancer, it's probably the first time you're trying to create something. You're trying to create content that you've consumed. You've been on Instagram, you've been on YouTube, but you've never made anything yourself. So it's very
Hmm.
awkward and it's very confusing to see like, oh, what do I make, what video do I make, or what post do I make. Be simple, just post your work. If you're a freelancer,
Hmm.
post anything about what you're doing. The easiest way to start is you have a project you just did, record a screen, put it in a post and say, hey, this is my latest project for this client. I've done this. I think it turned out pretty well. Let me know what you guys think. That works,
Hmm.
right? If let's say you
Yeah.
don't have any projects, you can just say, oh, today I learned about, we use this on Webflow, this happened. Just share what you feel like you want to share. That's something I still do. Even last week a few weeks ago, I just had nothing to say. I didn't say anything, right? I was thinking like, what do I post on LinkedIn today? And I just had nothing, absolutely nothing, and I just didn't post, right? But sometimes you're like something bothers you, or a question a client asks triggers you in a way to post something. For me, it
Hmm.
was that thing. I don't know whether you saw it, but I know you saw it, which was the structure
The
of the
div
Webflow site. Yeah,
555. Yeah.
div 4,700, bro. And that immediately
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, I need to post this. So
Yeah.
once you don't pressure yourself into posting something, you will think of a lot of things to post.
Hmm.
And I think you post a lot more about business stuff, right? Like, this is how much it costs to run a Webflow site compared to
Hmm.
other sites. And you also
Yeah.
post a lot of your work and stuff like that.
Yeah. So for me, right, I feel like, firstly, Vim, you said a really good point. And I feel like, just to summarize that, just be spontaneous with your content.
Yeah.
Don't just think too much about it. For example, just share whatever you're working on that day. Be very spontaneous with it, especially as a beginner. You're not going to have much to work with. So just be
Yeah.
spontaneous. If you learn something new, share it. For me, right, because, I've been posting for quite a long time now. Um, right now, what I'm doing, how I'm creating my content is listening to the market, listening to what other people, what questions do my ideal clients have,
Yeah.
and just answering those questions and posting it. So I feel like, I think, one of my last few posts, I posted about digital psychology.
Yeah.
So in that post, how I came up with the post, I wasn't, sitting here and thinking, oh, let me just post about digital psychology. No, it didn't happen like that, right? I
Yeah.
think I was on a client call, and then one of my clients just, we were just talking, and they mentioned about psychology and digital psychology. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me make a post about it, because they had questions about it, right? So I
Yeah.
just answered them. I answered him obviously on the call, but then I also created a post about it. So yeah, I, that's how I create my content, answering questions that my ideal clients have, um, that I feel like will provide value to them. So I think you mentioned as well a few. I think this post I posted quite a long time ago, but it was something to do with how much it costs to run a normal website compared to a Webflow website, and I explained
Yeah.
everything. And
But I think
that is
you
what I
do a good
use.
you do a good thing of like not being too salesy and
Hmm.
not being completely non-salesy. Like I
Yeah.
see a pattern in your post where two or three is about the work that you're doing or a client project that you did or a project that you're launching, and then there's one
Hmm.
post with like, oh, this is how much it costs, like like targeting the business owners themselves,
Yeah.
and the others are more targeting towards a general Webflow community.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like I do like to mix it up a lot, and yeah, you actually was pretty spot on about that pattern, which is
yeah,
technically what I do. I do like to mix it up. I like to have
yeah,
some posts about Webflow content, community showcase stuff,
yeah,
some posts about businessy stuff, and yeah, with my business stuff, well, sorry, with my Webflow stuff, I'm very spontaneous, right? Whatever I'm working on, I just share.
yeah,
If I have a cool clonable idea, I just share it. With my business stuff, again, I just you know answer the questions that my ideal clients have. And
yeah,
I approach this in a mindset of service. How can I best serve my clients,
yeah.
on LinkedIn? That is by creating content that is of value. When you're first starting out, you're not going to know what is value, what type of content is value or
Takes
not.
time. Yeah,
So I suggest not doing that. Just be very spontaneous and
yeah.
just post whatever you feel like, post whatever you're
From
working on, post whatever you're learning.
Yeah, for me, what I do is there's most of the time it's like Webflow stuff, something I'm launching or a product or a clonable, something like that. And it's also more personal stuff, like any milestone that I've reached,
Hmm.
whether what the company has been doing for the past month or someone joined a project or something like that. I I do that where it's personal and Webflow, whereas you are
Hmm.
more like Webflow and business. It is again, these are niches that we are creating on ourselves also,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I want to target business owners. That's why I'm kind of
Yeah,
doing that business side of
yeah,
things.
yeah,
But it all depends on the person who's watching, right?
yeah, and also
If you
what
don't
you're
want to do that,
comfortable with. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I really like business and business stuff
yeah,
and philosophy and all that stuff. So then that's what I want to post about. That's what I post about, right? But it's all about
yeah,
you. Don't copy me and just post about I'm posting. It may
yeah.
not work for you. You have to be very unique, as we said at the
It
beginning of the
takes time.
video.
Yeah,
Be comfortable with what you want to post. So
yeah,
yeah.
and I think we kind of touched upon this as well. Anytime you see something work, don't do it again and again and again because it's not going to
Hmm.
work. It worked once, forget it, move on, do something else, and try to refine it. Right, like try to do something better, try to do something different. And I think that's why we started this live stream because we have gotten used to LinkedIn. We know what works in LinkedIn, roughly what doesn't
Hmm.
work on LinkedIn, and we wanted to be a little bit more uncomfortable doing something. And this is something that right now I'm still not very comfortable doing, but compared to the very first time we did it to now, I'm a little bit more
Yeah,
comfortable. So
yeah.
yeah, so try to test something in refunds. For us, this doesn't hasn't paid off yet. We haven't gotten any
Hmm.
clients or anything like that, but we don't care because we just want to see what's the best we can do.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah. That's exactly what it is. So when you're starting out on LinkedIn, even though you might think is quality content, is not going to be the best. So that's why you
yeah,
test and refine, right? If
yeah.
something works on LinkedIn, if you find one post, one type of unique post that you created that works, test
Don't
it
do
and
it
then
again and again.
yeah,
Yeah,
refine it. Don't post the same post again
yeah.
and again and again.
I've seen
Refine
it
it
so many
until it's
times.
perfect. Yeah, refine
Yeah,
it until it's perfect, right? So yeah, that's what I would say with that is a pretty
yeah.
simple, um, concept. But
Process.
yeah,
Yeah, and
test
I
and
think
refine. If and
this is a
again,
good
if
question.
something is not working, just scrap it immediately. Don't
Yeah,
waste your time on things that do
it
not
doesn't
work. That's
matter.
another
Yeah,
huge thing.
yeah, and I think this is a good question. How do you handle client work and content creation at the same time? You don't.
That's yeah.
I think it's very difficult as a freelancer. It's very difficult to do both at the
Hmm.
same time. What we personally do is whenever we have a lot of client work, I think our LinkedIn and our marketing takes a hit. For me
Hmm.
personally, I think that's usually when there's a lot of work, I definitely stop posting a lot of stuff because that takes some time.
Hmm.
Um, but then once you're done with the project, you'll have definitely you'll have some time in between the next one, and that's when you'll have a stockpile of content that you can do. You can post about the project, what you felt during the project, what you've learned during the project, and then you can stack all of them. So it's almost like up and down, up and down is what I do. um but the best way to do it is try to balance it if you can, but you don't absolutely have to do one post every day or one post every week. Nobody's going to
Yeah,
disappear. Nothing's going to happen.
yeah.
Sometimes
So
it's also good to
how
take
I
a
would,
break. Yeah,
yeah, again, yeah, I was gonna say that as well. If you're finding it a bit hard, just take a break.
yeah,
But for me, right, how I would approach this, how I would answer the question is two ways, right? The first way is you can be very lazy.
yeah,
You can be very lazy and strategic with this, right?
yeah,
You can handle client work all day, but
yeah,
then at the same time you can be creating content. I'll tell you how.
yeah,
During your client work, you may think of, for example, you found, let's say working on a Webflow website, right? You found this really cool hack. You can post about it.
yeah,
It'll take 5, 10 minutes. So
yeah,
again, it's just that spontaneous thing. You can, handle client work and content creation at the same time.
yeah,
Content creation doesn't have to be a chore. You know,
yeah.
it could
Make it
literally be,
simple. Yeah,
it literally could be something that you found during a
a
client
screenshot.
or yeah, a client
Yeah,
project.
yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be complicated. So that's the
It could
first way,
just be a
right?
post. Like if you're doing on LinkedIn, just text, just write up
Yeah,
something for like 15
yeah,
minutes. That's what I usually try to do, and that's a lot of work. I
yeah.
couldn't record a screen and like share my work or make a picture or something like that. I just write about what I feel or like something that bothered me that week. It does well as well. It's not gonna be Webflow related most of the time because I don't want to share a lot of like anything Webflow related while I'm
Hmm.
working. But yeah, you can
Yeah.
definitely handle both. But most of the time, especially when I think as freelancers, we always go through this peak and trough. We get a lot of
Hmm.
projects at one time. We try to hit all the deadlines, and then there's a slump, and that's when we
Hmm.
most of the time we do marketing. It picks up, and we get a lot of work. We do the work, and then there's a slump. And as a beginner, I
Yeah.
think it's very obvious that there'll be a very big rise and there'll be a very sharp drop. But over time, it will start to level out where you'll
Yeah.
get projects in a consistent basis to the point where you can have a rough idea. Okay, this week I'm gonna have this, this, this. I can post something in between. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, and
So,
yeah, if as long as
bro,
you're not doing
100%
something
agree.
like YouTube content creation, I think YouTube video creation is probably the most time consuming. But if you're
Yeah,
just doing
definitely.
LinkedIn and Instagram or
It's
like
not,
live
yeah.
streams, is barely anything. It's like
Yeah,
one
again, you
hour,
can be
2
very
hours.
spontaneous, bro. Like while you're working on your client project, you can come up with something.
Yeah,
So that was the first way that I mentioned, right? The second way, actually, there's three ways. So the the second way to handle both at the same time is you can just dedicate one day of the week just on content creation. For example, a Sunday or a Saturday. For
yeah,
me, it's a Saturday
batch work.
because for me, it's Saturday because I'm completely off on Sunday.
Yeah,
But on Saturday, just dedicate your 3 4 hours a day just on creating content and plan that for the entire week. Create 3 posts in that one day and plan it out for the rest of the week. And during those posts, you can just reflect on what you've done the past week, and then create content based on that. So that's the second way, right? The third way is you can, obviously, for beginners, this is not going to be very helpful, but hire a content writer to to write
yeah,
content for you on LinkedIn. I have a blog post writer who writes a ton of all of my blog posts actually, and quite a few of my LinkedIn stuff. So yeah, you can hire a content writer that writes for you instead of you having to do that, so you can focus more on your projects. So yeah,
yeah,
those are the three ways, but I suggest using the first and the second way.
yeah. Just find something that works for you. You don't
Yeah.
have to do both at the same time. Find a
Again, bro,
balance. Yeah,
yeah, we're always going back to the point of everything's going to be unique to you. You have to
yeah,
find a strategy that works for you.
yeah,
So yeah, every point we say, it all falls back to that point.
yeah. And I think it's time to wrap up with the secret sauce.
Secret
I
sauce.
was
Yeah.
I was so lazy to type secret announcement
Yeah.
because I
So
don't know
this
how to.
is something, yeah, I'll just
Yeah,
introduce this, right? So
yeah,
this is
sure,
something
sure.
that Vim has been working on. I think we dropped a few hints in the past few episodes, but this is
Yeah.
something that Vim has been working on, and yeah, I believe that's going to be quite big, and it's going to help
Ah,
quite a lot of people. So,
oh no.
Vim,
Okay.
why don't you share what you have to share?
Yeah, let me share my screen. I think I kind of did a little.
Yeah.
Should I share my other
And
screen?
again,
I think
bro,
I should.
this is gonna help. You know, our main goal for this podcast is to help
To
beginners,
help people.
and
Yeah.
this is just gonna level up. You know, what we're doing, which is our main goal to help beginners.
Yeah.
So
So this is it. Find
here we go.
flow. So this has been something that I've been thinking about for a very long time. Um, it's if you're on the Facebook group, you have seen people look for freelancers and Webflow freelancers looking for projects. But most of the time, you see, when they're looking for freelancers, they're spammed. People are like, "Oh, hey, I want to work with you." What am I saying? So the main idea is this platform or this site curates a lot of Webflow developers and projects in one place. So
Yeah.
you need to be verified to be on this platform, and projects are also verified. What this means is that not everybody is listed on this site. You have to sign up, and we have to approve you to make sure you meet our standards. These standards will be announced later as we go, but you have had to work with client projects. You have to have good, website structure, use proper class naming. You have to be very qualified to be on this site. So this is not as strict as the Webflow experts or anything like that, but this is just a place where, if clients want to find Webflow developers, they can just come here and they can see who is on the site and hire them immediately.
Hmm.
It saves them from a lot of spam that often happens on the Facebook group or on LinkedIn. When they say, "Hey, we are looking for a Webflow developer," and there's like 50 comments and 200 likes. Nobody's gonna go through all of that. Even I've posted it on Facebook before, and I've gotten like 50 comments. I've never gone more than like three. So the
Hmm.
idea is to help people find Webflow developers very easily, and also these developers are, quality developers and not just $50 Fiverr developers.
Hmm.
The site
Yeah.
is ready right now, just both of us in there. But yeah, so this is the idea. And if you're a developer, you can come into this website and you can find Webflow projects, freelance projects. People are looking for Webflowers, and they'll be here. Again, they will be verified to make sure the budget meets the scope. You will not see, help me build a web app for $50, nothing like that. They'll be rejected automatically. um,
Yeah.
and the whole idea is to help curate a place of verified projects for Webflow and
Yeah.
Webflow developers.
So how I see this is you're kind of um connecting high quality freelancers with high quality projects.
Yes.
So that is the
Yeah.
best way to kind of explain what's going on.
Yeah.
And by high quality, we mean vetted, right? So people
Yes.
might ask, how do you make sure it's high quality? We vet, Vimal is gonna vet all of them, right? You
Yeah.
know, if you don't meet certain standards, you're gone. And that's both freelancers and clients.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
do you
again,
want me to, should I get into like the details on, yeah, you know what? Why not?
if you feel like it, bro, go on.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes. So
Yeah,
these
go
are
on.
the requirements to be listed as a freelancer. You have to be a Webflow developer. You cannot be a WordPress developer or a Wix developer and come here and sign up.
Yeah.
Has to be a Webflow developer. You have to have at least 3 Webflow projects and provide links to them so that they are shown on the website. You need to have 2 read-only links. Again, these are not shared with clients or it's not put on the website. It's merely for us to take a look at your work to make sure you have good structure. You do not have div 375. And these have to be client projects, not just your projects. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah. And again, yeah, you have to use proper class namings. Even with the 3 client projects you send, we can actually check your class naming structure and how you structure the site. And you have to have good high attention to detail. Very basic requirements that most people want to look for in good Webflow developers. And the
Yeah.
same thing for projects. It has to be a Webflow project, cannot be a WordPress, cannot be a Wix, cannot be a Squarespace. It has to be a fair price for the scope. And we will verify this personally. Again, we understand geography plays a position. You could be from a different country, your pricing could be different. We get it. We'll try to make sure it's fair, just so that you don't exploit any developers for $50 projects and stuff like that. You need to have a clear timeline. There's no, hey, I need this done ASAP or something like that. If you do, you can let me know. I'll put it on the site, but I will have to make sure it has a valid reason. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have an application form just to keep it simple so that your email is not on the website and not, you don't get spammed with bots and stuff like that. And again, a clear detailed brief that states the scope of the project. Again, very standard stuff that we look for as developers on projects. And yeah, I hope people start using this. And we are looking for freelancers to sign up. So if you are, you can sign up using the link that I've dropped in the chat. It's a very, very basic stuff. I try to structure it in a way that's very simple to follow and sign up. I think Shaz, you signed up earlier today, and
Yeah.
I yeah
It was, yeah, very simple, bro. Yeah. And bro, this is gonna be, I feel like FineFlow is gonna be really, really useful for a lot of people because you're killing two birds with one stone.
yeah
You're, making sure that the freelancers are high quality as well as the uh clients.
yeah
So, yeah, it's gonna be huge. And anyone that's a beginner who is looking for this kind of stuff, who has a few projects under their belt, make
yeah.
sure that you sign up. And yeah, once we start getting a few clients through the door, a few
That'll
projects
be
are gonna
good,
be
man.
coming onto
Yeah,
the website.
we
And
haven't
yeah,
launched it yet because you can see like
yeah.
there's lorem ipsums somewhere in the site. Yeah, we haven't
Hmm.
fully launched it. Still in development process. But yeah, we are looking to get freelancers up at least 5 to 10 before we do a full launch, so it looks
Hmm.
like a proper site and it's just not empty. So if you're interested, please sign up. And I think this will be pretty useful for a lot of freelancers out there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, bro. So, anyways, guys, this was a really good episode. I actually really enjoyed it. About
Yeah, that's
marketing, all
nice.
of that good stuff. If you guys found it useful, make sure you leave a like. And for our next
Subscribe,
episode,
comment.
yeah, all of that good stuff. And for our next episode, episode 5, is gonna be a special one. And we don't really
Yeah.
wanna. Do you wanna talk about it? Maybe.
It's a guest episode.
So,
There's two special
okay.
guests coming on the episode. I'm not sure whether you've heard of them. But yeah, we'll post it, by this week,
Yeah, we're gonna
just to
post
make
it on
sure.
LinkedIn this week, but
Yeah.
we're gonna have two, very amazing Webflow developers on
Yep.
our podcast. We're gonna be interviewing them, picking their brains about Webflow and their industry, just like how
Yeah.
we do. And yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of
It's
value.
our first
And
guest episode as well. So
first guest episode, so we want to make sure that is a banger. But um, yeah, guys, if you liked it, make sure you leave a like, and also make sure that you press the bell icon, turn on the notifications so you get notified for our next
proper
episode.
YouTubers.
Yeah, because bro, the next episode is gonna be it's
It's a
gonna
good
slap
one.
differently.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good one. So we want to make sure that everyone that's watching, make sure
Yep.
they press the notification so you don't miss out on next week's episode.
All
But
right.
yeah, guys, it was good speaking, and catch you in the next one.
Oh wait, we have a
Peace.
hi Alexis.
Hi, Alex. Just before we leave, we just want to say hi. Sure.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you.
Thanks, Dev. It's good.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right, guys.
guys.
Take
See you
care.
guys next week. Bye
Peace.
bye.